Hello there everyone, Xantok here with Select Start Gaming, and welcome to a brand new series on the channel. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, that's the game. It's got several games in the franchise and I love them mostly all. Mostly all. This was a game I'd been wanting to do for a while. It wasn't the one that was initially next up in the lineup, but the game I was wanting to do after Spider-Man, it ended up crashing on me a lot, and I couldn't get past this one particular area where it just kept happening. So I was like, well, shit, I guess we gotta scrap that. Luckily, I was only 8 episodes in. So, hey, different game. Let's get to it. It's going to be very much a visual novel type of game, but also quite investigative. We're playing a lawyer. We're trying to, help prove people not guilty by figuring out where everyone else went wrong. So, let's jump into our first case of the game, the first turnabout. Oh no. Damn it. Why me? I can't get caught. Not like this. I, I've got to find someone to pin this on. Someone like him. I'll make it look like he did it. August 3rd, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Boy, am I nervous. Right. Oh, hiya, Chief. Oh, I'm glad I made it on time. Well, I have to say, Phoenix, I'm impressed. Not everyone takes on a murder trial right off the bat like this. It says a lot about you, and your client as well. Thanks? Actually, it's because I owe him a favor. A favor? You mean you knew the defendant before this case? Yeah. Actually, I kind of owe my current job to him. He's one of the reasons I became an attorney. Well, that's news to me. I want to help him out any way I can. I just really want to help him. I owe him that much. Oh, it's over! My life, everything, it's all over! Isn't that, your client screaming over there? Yeah, that's him. Death, despair, oh, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna die! It sounds like he wants to die? Yeah, just, let me talk to him. Oh, Nick! Hey there, Larry. Dude, I'm so guilty. Tell them I'm guilty. Give me the death sentence. I ain't afraid to die. What? Larry, what's wrong? Oh, it's all over. I'm finished. Finished. I can't live in a world without her. I can't. Who took her away from me, Nick? Who did this? Oh, Nick, you gotta tell me. Who took my baby away? Oh god, here we go. The person responsible for your girlfriend's death? The newspapers say it was you. Of course, not that the papers ever get anything wrong, right? My name is Phoenix Wright. Here's the story. My first case was a fairly simple one. A young woman was killed in her apartment. The guy they arrested was the unlucky sap dating her, Larry Butts. My best friend since grade school. Our school had a saying, when something smells, it's usually the butts. In the 23 years I've known him, it's usually been true. He has a knack for getting himself in trouble. One thing I can say though, it's usually not his fault. He just has terrible luck. But I know better than anyone that he's a good guy at heart. That, and I owe him one, which is why I took the case, to clear his name. And that's just what I'm going to do. August 3rd, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 2. The court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Larry Butts. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The, defense is ready, Your Honor. Ahem. Mr. Wright, this is your first trial, is it not? Yes, Your Honor. I'm, a little nervous. Your conduct during this trial will decide the fate of your client. Murder is a serious charge. For your client's sake, I hope you can control your nerves. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, given the circumstances, I think we should have a test to ascertain your readiness. Oh, yes, Your Honor. Okay. Handshaking, eyesight, feeding. The test will consist of a few simple questions. Answer them clearly and concisely. Please, state the name of the defendant in this case. That's going to be, Larry Butts. Mia Fey is actually our boss, and we are, of course, Phoenix Wright. The defendant? Well, that's Larry Butts, Your Honor. Correct. Just keep your wits about you, and you'll do fine. Next question. This is a murder trial. Tell me, what's the victim's name? Oh, we haven't actually learned that yet. Oh, good. I know this one. Glad I read the case report cover to cover so many times. It's... Wait. Uh-oh. Oh, no. No way, I forgot. I'm drawing a total blank here. Phoenix, are you absolutely sure you're up to this? You don't even know the victim's name? Oh, the victim. Of course I know the victim's name. I, just forgot. Temporarily. I think I feel a migraine coming on. Look, the defendant's name is listed in the court record. Just touch the court record button to check it at any time, okay? Remember to check it often. Do it for me, please. I'm begging you. Let's hear your answer. Who is the victim in this case? So we've got Mia Fey, Cinderblock, and Cindy Stone. Well, again, we already know Mia Fey is our boss. So let's go ahead and open up the court record. We can go here to Cindy's autopsy report. And it just says time of death, 7:31, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Cause of death, loss of blood due to blunt trauma. It doesn't actually say her name other than Cindy, but only one of these people's name is Cindy. So her name is Cindy Stone. The victim's name is Cindy Stone, actually. Correct. Now, tell me, what was the cause of death? She died because she was... Oh, hey, we just looked at this. Hit with a blunt object. She was struck once by a blunt object. Correct. You've answered all my questions. I see no reason why we shouldn't proceed. You seem much more relaxed, Mr. Wright. Good for you. Thank you, Your Honor. Because I don't feel relaxed, that's for sure. Well then. First, a question for the prosecution. Mr. Payne? Yes, Your Honor. As Mr. Wright just told us, the victim was struck with a blunt object. Would you explain to the court just what that object was? The murder weapon was the statue of the Thinker. It was found lying on the floor next to the victim. I see. The court accepts it into evidence. So we got the statue now. It's the weapon. Claims to be the murder weapon. Could be, could not be. We'll see. Right. Be sure to pay attention to any evidence added during the trial. That evidence is the only ammunition you have in court. Touch the court record button to check the court record frequently. Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its first witness. The prosecution calls the defendant Mr. Butts to the stand. Chief, what do I do now? Pay attention. You don't want to miss any information that might help your client's case. You'll get your chance to respond to the prosecution later, so be ready. Let's just hope he doesn't say anything unfortunate. Uh-oh. Larry gets excited easily. This could be bad. God, I hate that jacket so much. Ahem. Mr. Butts, is it not true that the victim had recently dumped you? Hey! Watch it, buddy! We were great together. We were Romeo and Juliet, Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Oh, God. Didn't they all die? I wasn't dumped. She just wasn't taking my phone calls or seeing me. Ever. What's it to you anyway? Mr. Butts, what you describe is generally what we mean by dumped. In fact, she had completely abandoned you and was seeing other men. She had just returned from overseas with one of them the day before the murder. What do you mean, one of them? Lies. All of it lies. I don't believe a word of it. Your Honor, the victim's passport. According to this, she was in Paris until the day before she died. Alright, we got the passport submitted to evidence. Indeed. She appears to have returned the day before the murder. Dude, no way! The victim was a model, but did not have a large income. It appears that she had several, sugar daddies. Daddies? Sugar? Yes, older men who gave her money and gifts. She took their money and used it to support her lifestyle. Dude! We can clearly see what kind of woman this Miss Stone was. Tell me, Mr. Butts, what do you think of her now? Right? I don't think you want him to answer that question. Yeah, Larry has a way of running his mouth in all the wrong directions. Should I stop him from answering? Let's go for it. My client had no idea the victim was seeing other men. That question is irrelevant to this case. Oh. Dude, Nick, what do you mean irrelevant? That cheating she-dog. I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna drop dead. Yeah, and when I meet her in the afterlife, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Larry. Let's continue the trial, shall we? I believe the accused motive is clear to everyone. Yes, quite. Oh boy, this is so not looking good. Next question. You went to the victim's apartment on the day of the murder, did you not? Well, did you or did you not? Well, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Uh-oh. He went. What do I do? Larry, just tell the damn truth here. I know. I'll send him a signal. Tell the truth. Yeah, I was there. I went. Wow, that actually worked? Alright. Well, Mr. Butts? Dude, chill. She wasn't home, man. So, like, I didn't see her. Oh, God. Payne, your objection sounds so whiny. Your Honor, the defendant is lying. Lying? The prosecution would like to call a witness who can prove Mr. Butts is lying. Well, that simplifies matters. Who is your witness? The man who found the victim's body just before making the gruesome discovery. He saw the defendant fleeing the scene of the crime. Well, shit. Order. Order in the court. Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its witness. Yes, Your Honor. This is bad. On the day of the murder, my witness was selling newspapers at the victim's building. Please, bring Mr. Frank Sott to the stand. This guy. Mr. Sott, you sell newspaper subscriptions, is this correct? Oh, yes. Newspapers, yes. Mr. Sott, you may proceed with your testimony. Please, tell the court what you saw on the day of the murder. Alright, so here we get to the big part of the court's witness testimonies followed by the cross-examinations. This should be fun. So, witness's account. I was going door to door, selling subscriptions when I saw a man fleeing an apartment. I thought, he must be in a hurry, because he left the door half open behind him. Thinking it strange, I looked inside the apartment. Then, I saw her lying there, a woman, not moving, dead. I quailed in fright and found myself unable to go inside. I thought to call the police immediately. However, the phone in her apartment wasn't working. I went to a nearby park and found a public phone. I remember the time exactly. It was 1 p.m. The man who ran was without a doubt the defendant standing right over there. Larry, why didn't you tell the truth? I can't defend you against a testimony like that. Incidentally, why wasn't the phone in the victim's apartment working? Your Honor, at the time of the murder, there was a blackout in the building. Aren't phones supposed to work during a blackout? Yes, Your Honor. However, some cordless phones do not function normally. The phone that Mr. Sott used was one of those. Your Honor, I have a record of the blackout for your perusal. Great, so we will definitely take a look at that here soon. Now, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? You may begin your cross-examination. Cross-examination, Your Honor. Alright, Wright. This is it. The real deal. What exactly am I supposed to do? Why, you exposed the lies in the testimony the witness just gave. Lies? What? He was lying? Your client is innocent, right? Then that witness must have lied in his testimony. Or is your client really guilty? How do I prove he's not? You hold the key. It's in the evidence. Compare the witness's testimony to the evidence at hand. There's bound to be a contradiction in there. First, find contradictions between the court record and the witness's testimony. Then, once you've found the contradicting evidence, present it and rub it in the witness's face. Okay. Touch the court record button and point out contradictions in the testimony. It's not that hard. Alright, so first things first, we need to go ahead and look at our court record here. And to do that, while we're in cross-examination, we're going to go to where it says present. So let's go ahead and read up these new items. We have our attorney's badge, we don't really need to look at that. It's just proof that we're a defense attorney. We've already seen the autopsy report. It says that she was killed between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. That's interesting. Considering the guy said it was at 1 p.m. That's probably what we're needing here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the stuff we got, though. So the statue. A statue in the shape of the thinker. It's rather heavy. Well, that's not very descriptive. Passport. The victim apparently arrived back home from Paris on 7:30 the day before the murder. In the blackout record, electricity to Ms. Stone's building was cut from noon to 6 p.m. on the day of the crime. Well, that seems to check out. So we can present evidence when we think we've found a contradiction, or we can press on a statement and get a little bit more information. Generally speaking, I just like to press on every statement because I like seeing everything that's going on. There's a few times in the game where they will punish you for doing that, but for the most part, screw it, we're gonna do it. Isn't a man leaving an apartment a common sight? I find it odd you would take notice of him. I don't know. He just seems strange to me, that's all. Like he was mad, and yet frightened at the same time. Just like a criminal fleeing the scene of a crime. The defense requests the witness refrain from conjecture. Of course. What the witness means is that the man he saw looked suspicious. So, what happened next? I thought he must be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. Half open, you say? Yes. The door was open halfway, yes. I watched for a moment, but no one came to close the door. That's odd. In a big city like this, I thought. I see. And what happened next? Thinking it strange, I looked inside the apartment. Some of these statements you really do not need to press on, but I just like to. I'd like to see the dialogue. What gave you the idea to do that? Well, the door's half open, you see. Isn't it only human to want to peek? I mean, I guess. We climb mountains because they are there. It's the same thing. Truer words have never been spoken. Anyone would look inside. Doubtful, but okay. Why did pain cut him off so quickly? So, you looked into the apartment. What happened then? Then, I saw her lying there. A woman. Not moving. Dead. Are you sure she was dead? Well, no, I guess I wasn't. But she wasn't moving at all, and there was blood everywhere. I guess that would look fatal to anyone. Very well. What happened next? The reason why I like to press on all these statements is sometimes when you do, they will actually add more information to the testimony, and then that's what you need to strike on and present evidence against. In this case, this first trial is a very simple one. The first trials for every Phoenix Wright game are pretty simple, but I still like to just common practice, go through everything. I crawled in fright and found myself unable to go inside. So, you didn't touch anything in the apartment? Yes, I mean, no, nothing. Okay, what happened next? I thought to call the police immediately. You thought to call the police? Does that mean you didn't actually call them? Please, please, listen to the rest of the testimony. You thought to call the police. What happened next? However, the phone at her apartment wasn't working. This is a lot of statements. Good God. The phone at her apartment wasn't working? Yes. I mean, no. No, it wasn't. Right. But you said you didn't go into the apartment. And you also said you didn't touch anything. Or did you? Oh, that? I can explain that. There was a cordless phone on a shelf in the entranceway. I reached inside and tried using that to call. And that phone wasn't working, correct? What happened next? I went to a nearby park and found a public phone. Wow, those existed when this game was created, apparently. Why use a public phone? Well, you see, I don't have a cell phone. And being the middle of the afternoon, there was no answer at the nearby apartments. Ah, right. What time did you call again? Here we go. This is gonna be the big one. We know from the beginning of the case where it showed us her murder. We know this guy did it. It's just gonna be a matter of proving that it was him and not Larry. I remember the time exactly. It was 1 p.m. Interesting that you say that. 1 p.m. Are you certain? Yes, absolutely. He seems really confident. 1 p.m. Right? Doesn't that seem strange to you? Present some evidence to contradict him. I remember the time exactly. Oh, she wants. Okay, they want me to go ahead and do it. I want to go ahead and. God, there's more. Oh no, that was the last statement. When you go past all the statements, you'll have a little chat with Mia here. She'll tell you, hey, she might give you a little hint about what's going on, but we already know exactly what we need to do here. We know where his contradiction is. We just have to get right to it and present the correct evidence. If we don't present the correct evidence, we present things wrong. You see those 5 exclamation points to the top right? We're going to lose one of those. Lose all of them, and you get a guilty verdict, you lose. Luckily, though, it's really not bad. You can immediately resume the game, be back at full health, for lack of a better term, and continue where you were at. So, God, come on, one more statement. Dear God. 1 p.m., he says. Well, I happen to think that this autopsy report says it happened between 4 and 5, so that is definitely wrong. Oh, God. Shoot, what, but... Okay, I see what I have to do. So, since this is a DS game, you can either hold the Y button and shout the word objection, but unfortunately that's not going to work out for me the way I'm playing this, or you have to actually physically touch the present button. That's just what I'm going to have to do. You found the body at 1 p.m. You're sure? Yes, it was 1 p.m. for certain. Frankly, I find that hard to believe. Your statement directly contradicts the autopsy report. The autopsy notes the time of death at sometime after 4 p.m. There was no body to find at 1 p.m. How do you explain this 3-hour gap? Uh-oh. Oh, that. This is trivial. The witness merely forgot the time. That's a pretty big time to forget, though. After his testimony, I find that hard to believe. Mr. Sott, why were you so certain that you found the body at 1 p.m.? Gee, that's a really good question. Great job, Wright. Way to put him on the spot. That's all you have to do. Point out contradictions. Lies always beget more lies. See through one, and their whole story falls apart. Wait, I remember now. Would you care to give your testimony again? The time of discovery. You see, when I found the body, I heard the time. There was a voice saying the time. It was probably coming from the television. Oh, but it was 3 hours off, wasn't it? Huh. I guess the victim must have been watching a video of a taped program? That's why I thought it was 1 p.m. Terribly sorry about the misunderstanding. So, a television program during a blackout? That don't sound right. I see. You heard a voice saying the time on a taped program. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Right. You know what to do. I've got this one. Don't you worry there, Mia. You see, when I found the body, I heard the time. I'm actually just not going to press on everything at this point. If I'm not sure what to do, because to be fair, I don't remember the full entire game, then I will, but I feel like we don't need to in a lot of cases. So here we go. He says that there was a voice the other time coming from the television. We know that there is no way that that is true because of the blackout. God, I have to touch the M button every time. That's going to be annoying. Hold it right there. The prosecution has said there was a blackout at the time of the discovery. And this record proves it. You couldn't have heard a television or a video. The defense has a point. Do you have an explanation for this, Mr. Sawit? No, I find it quite puzzling myself. Quite. Wait, I remember now. Mr. Sawit, the court will prefer to hear an accurate testimony from the very beginning, if you will. These constant corrections are harming your credibility. That, and you seem rather distraught. My apologies, Your Honor. It must have been the shock of finding the body. Very well, Mr. Sawit. Let's hear your testimony once more, please. Third time's a charm for this guy. Hearing the time. Actually, I didn't hear the time, I saw it. You saw it? Haha. There was a table clock in the apartment, wasn't there? Yeah, the murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim. That must have been what I saw. You're saying the murder weapon is a clock. You saw a clock. I guess that would explain it. The defense may cross-examine the witness. Okay, but why is the clock having a different time on it? Come on. Actually, I didn't hear the time. I saw it. Now, this one I actually don't know off the top of my head what statement to present something else, so we are going to go ahead and press for evidence, or details, I should say. That strikes me as a very suspicious mistake. Yes, I can see how you'd be a little doubtful. I'm really sorry. I only just remembered that table clock. A table clock. There was a table clock in the apartment, wasn't there? Well, I didn't see no clock. A table clock? Was there a clock at the scene? This is the first I've heard of it. Yeah, the murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim. The murder weapon? Yeah, the table clock that was used as a weapon. That's what I just said. Did you doze off in the middle of my testimony or something? Something's fishy here. So I'm assuming what I need to do here is I need to go ahead and present evidence. I need to present the murder weapon because he's calling it a clock, and I don't know about you, but I just see a statue. Wait just a moment. The murder weapon wasn't a clock. It was a statue. Now how is this supposed to be a clock? You with your objections and your evidence. Just who do you think you are? Just answer the question, Mr. Sawit, or did you even saw it? Hey, I saw it there, okay? That's a clock. Your Honor, if I may. Yes, Mr. Payne? As the witness stated, this statue is indeed a clock. The neck is a switch. You just tilt it and it says the time out loud. As it doesn't look like a clock, I submitted it as a statue. My apologies. I see. So the murder weapon was a table clock after all. But you said it says it out loud, not that you would see the time. Well, Mr. Wright, it appears that the witness's testimony was correct. This is a clock. Do you have any problems with his testimony now? Yeah, I damn do. He said he saw it this time, and now it's actually being a verbal thing. This is still not making any sense. Your Honor, there is a gaping hole in the witness's testimony. The only way he could have known the weapon was a clock is to hold it in his hand. That too. Yet the witness testified that he never entered the apartment or touched anything. Clearly, a contradiction. Indeed. The witness knew it was a clock because he went into the apartment, obviously. You're lying. You were inside the apartment on the day of the murder. Oh yeah? Prove it. Prove I went in there. I'll do better than that. I can prove you were the one who killed her. You struck her with the clock, and the sound of the blow triggered the clock's voice. That was the sound you heard. Order in the court. Intriguing. Please, continue, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. So pretty much when you hear this music, you know that you're on the right path and the court case is about to end here pretty soon. You just gotta follow it through. Mr. Sot, the sound must have left quite an impression on you. Understandable, since the murder weapon spoke just as you hit the victim. That voice was burned into your mind. That's why you were so certain about the time. What's the meaning of this? This is all baseless conjecture. Baseless? Just look at the witness's face. Would the witness care to elaborate? Did you strike the victim with the clock? That day. I never. Look, the clock, I heard, no, I mean, I saw, Oh my. Shut up, I hate you. It was him, I tell you. I saw him. He killed her, and he should burn. Burn. Give him death. Alright. Maybe chill. Order. Order of the court, I say. Your Honor, a moment, please. There isn't a shred of evidence supporting the defense's claims. Mr. Wright. Your Honor? You claim the sound the witness heard came from the clock. Do you have any evidence? Whole case is riding on this. Better think through it carefully. Yes, Your Honor. The sound Mr. Sot heard was definitely the clock. A fact which is clear if you simply try sounding the clock. Because we know that the murder happened between 4 and 5. The clock sounded 1 p.m. So there's something off there. If we sound it now and it's off to the current time, that should prove it, right? Let's sound the clock now, here in this court. Your Honor, may I have the clock? I ask the court to listen very carefully. Beep. I think it's 8:25. That certainly is a strange way to announce the time. Well, he is the thinker, after all. So, we've heard the clock. What are your conclusions, Mr. Wright? Mr. Payne, can you tell me what time it is now? It's, 11:25. As you can see, this clock is exactly 3 hours slow. Precisely the discrepancy between what Mr. Sot heard and the actual time of death. So, Mr. Sot, try to talk your way out of this one. Ha! You forgot one thing! God. What's he talking about? While it may seem like that clock is running 3 hours slow, it proves nothing. How do you know it was running 3 hours slow on the day of the murder? Good point. If you can't prove that, you don't have a case. I feel like if the defendant is telling me this, or not the defendant, I feel like the person I'm accusing is telling me this, it's a pretty clear indicator that they're the guilty party. I mean, come on. He's right. How am I going to prove that? Damn it. So close. Mr. Wright, it seems you lack the critical evidence to support your claim. Yes, Your Honor. This means I cannot let you indict the witness. Unfortunately, this ends the cross-examination of Mr. Frank Sot. I come all the way down here to testify, and look what happens. They treat me like a criminal. A criminal! You lawyers are all slime. I almost had him. Sorry, Larry. I failed you. There's nothing I can do about it now. Well, shit. Not so fast, Mr. Sot. Mia? I mean, Chief? Listen up, Wright. Don't throw this one away. Not like this. Think. But, Chief, it's over. I can't prove the clock was slow the day of the murder. Nobody can prove that. Well, yes. But that doesn't mean you can't still win. Try thinking out of the box. Don't waste time down in the facts. Assume the clock was 3 hours slow, and think through it. Ask yourself, why was the clock 3 hours slow? Figure out the reason, and you'll have your proof. Right? Can you think of a reason as to why the clock would be 3 hours slow? I mean, I sure as hell hope so. Wait. Maybe I can prove it. You must have evidence somewhere that can prove it, right? Find it, and let them have it. Well, Mr. Wright, you say the clock was already running slow the day of the murder. Have you found evidence to support this claim? Of course. There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can prove my claim beyond a doubt. Ha! Tough words. Let's see you pulled this one off. Let's see this evidence that proves why the clock was running slow. So, we only got 5 pieces of evidence to look at. It is never, ever, ever, ever the attorney's badge. So, let's see here. We've got Cindy's autopsy report. Doesn't make much sense. We've got the statue, which doesn't make sense. We have the passport. She just arrived home from flying to Paris. Now that we haven't used yet, and it would explain what happened there. The victim had just returned home from abroad the day before the murder. As we all know, the time difference between here and Paris is 9 hours. When it's 4 p.m. here, it's 1 a.m. the next day there. The clock wasn't 3 hours slow, it was 9 hours fast. The victim hadn't reset her clock since returning home. That's why the time you heard when you struck her dead in her apartment was wrong. Proof enough for you, Mr. Sot? Or should I say, Mr. Did It? That was bad, Phoenix. Oh. Oh my. He fainted. Order! Order, I say! Well, this case has certainly turned out differently than we all expected. Mr. Payne, your client, he was arrested and has been taken away, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I have to say, I'm impressed. I don't think I've ever seen someone complete a defense so quickly, and find the true culprit at the same time. Thank you, Your Honor. At this point, this is only a formality, but this court finds the defendant, Mr. Larry Butts, and with that, the court is adjourned. It turns out that Frank Sot was a common burglar. He posed as a newspaper salesman to check and see when people were out of the house. That day, when Larry went to her apartment, the victim wasn't home. After he left, Mr. Sot let himself in to do his dirty work. While he was searching her place, the victim returned. Flustered, Mr. Sot grabbed the nearest blunt object he could find and he killed her. August 3rd, 2:32 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Whew. Still can't believe we won. Right. Good job in there. Congratulations. Thanks, Chief. I owe it all to you. Not at all. Not at all. You fought your own battles in there. It's been a while since I've seen a trial end on such a satisfying note. I've never seen the Chief looking this happy. If she's this glad, imagine how Larry must feel. My life is over. Larry, you're supposed to be happy. What's wrong now? Oh, Nick. Don't worry about me. I'll be dead and gone soon. Good, wait, hold up. What? No. Bad. Larry, no. Larry, you're innocent. The case is closed. But But my Cindy Windy's gone, man. Gone forever. Larry, she was... Oh, never mind. Congratulations, Harry. Harry? Yes, you. I can practically see the deadline now, or headlines now. Harry Butts, innocent. Thanks. I really owe you one. I won't forget this, ever. Let's celebrate. Dinner? Movie? My treat. Oh, no, I couldn't. Hey, I was the one who got you off the hook. Oh, hey. Here, take this. It's a present. A present? For me? Wait, wasn't this the evidence that... Actually, I made this clock for her. I made one for her and one for me. You made these? Alright, slight impressed. Really? You? You made this? Well, thank you. I'll keep it as a memento. Yo, Nick, can you believe it? I was so into that chick. And she was just playing me for a fool. Don't that make you just want to cry? Larry... Are you so sure? Excuse me? I think she thought quite a lot of you in her own way. Nah, you don't gotta sympathize with me. It's okay. Oh, I'm not just sympathizing. Really? Isn't that right? Right. Don't you have something to show your friend? Something that proves how she felt about him? I do? Of course I do. What the heck is she talking about? I mean, none of these make sense, except for the statue. Check this out, Larry. Proof positive. You weren't just some chump to her. Huh? Where'd you get that clock? This is the clock that you made for her, Larry. She took it with her when she traveled. Huh. She probably just needed a clock, that's all. You think so? It's a pretty heavy clock to take traveling. And if you're receiving money and gifts from a bunch of guys, you could easily get a cell phone, which has a clock on it. So, well, make of it what you will. Hey, Nick. I'm glad I asked you to be my lawyer. Really, I am. Thanks. Hope that made him feel a little better. Right? I hope you see the importance of evidence now. Also, hopefully you realize things change depending on how you look at them. People too. We never really know if our clients are guilty or innocent. All we can do is believe in them. And in order to believe in them, you have to believe in yourself. Right? Listen, learn, grow strong. Never let go of what you believe in. Never. Well, I think our work here is done. Shall we be off? Yeah, I guess so. Say, how about dinner? On me? We'll drink a toast to innocent butts. Yeah. Oh, speaking of Harry, you were saying part of how you became a lawyer was because of him? Yeah, part at least. You'll have to tell me more about it sometime. Maybe over drinks? Oh my. And so, my first trial came to a close. Larry slapped me on the back and said, "Gee, Nick, it's good to have friends. But I'm pretty sure he's not going to pay me. Unless you count the clock he gave Mia." I didn't know it then. But that clock was soon going to be at the center of another incident. And my promise to tell the chief about me and Larry would be one promise that I wouldn't be able to keep. And that's the end of our first case. There's only going to be, I think, 5 cases in this game, if I remember correctly. And they are not all going to be as short as this one, I promise you that. So let's go ahead and save our cleared stage that I suppose might as well. And next time, we will be starting this second case of the game, Turnabout Sisters. But I'll see you all then. Bye, everyone.